Hey, this is Storm Warden coming back at you today with another video. And today we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Francine. We're going to talk about the increasing probability that this becomes a hurricane. Possibility of a major hurricane is also on the table. And we're going to talk about all the factors. We're going to talk about impacts. And that's what we're going to get into in today's video. If you've been liking my weather content, please subscribe. And without further ado, guys, we're going to jump right into it because we have a lot to look at today. So starting with IR satellite, this is our storm Francine, and you're probably looking at it and saying, "Well, this doesn't look like much." Well, we had some dry air last night that kind of made the storm look pretty lopsided, and it's kind of been tilted and looks kind of weird. But now we're back into that re-intensification period, and now we're seeing some re-intensification of this storm, and as we go through the day, this will only continue to strengthen, and we will probably even more than likely see rapid intensification as we go through our day to day. I already see some people saying that, oh, the storm doesn't look as big as it was. No, this storm is still going to be a monster in my opinion. We're still going to go through a period of rapid intensification. So if you're along Louisiana coast, the western Gulf Coast, or central Gulf Coast, you need to be prepared for some hurricane damage. So we're going to start off by looking at hurricane models today. We're going to go through the hurricane models, and then I'm going to show you some things as far as like dry air, wind shear, and all that good stuff. And then I'm going to show you the wind gust forecast. I'm also going to show you the Weather Prediction Center's forecast for heavy rainfall. And then so starting with our HWRF model, and we're starting off right now, and it looks to be initializing a little bit strong, but overall, I think recently millibars have dropped down to 988, 989. So we're getting close to hurricane strength. At some point today, this will become a hurricane. It may be early afternoon. Could be as late as tonight. We'll see. But regardless of that, I do believe that we're going to go through a period of rapid intensification, which we could get down as far as a low end Category 3 hurricane headed right towards you guys in Louisiana. That will probably rapidly decay as it hits the coast of Louisiana. So that'll be something that we watch out for. But we're gonna go through this model run of the HWRF model, and this is a hurricane model. So we're gonna start by going through time, and this model drops it all the way down to a 967 millibar hurricane. So this is headed towards that Category 3 status. This is a major hurricane, folks, coming right towards you, right down here in southeastern Louisiana. Now, I wanna keep you guys in mind that this track has been shifting east for the last several model runs. In fact, the spaghetti models continue to push east. So you guys in New Orleans, you're going to be on the dirty side of this system, and if these model trends continue to shift east, you may be under the eye wall. So if you're in southeastern Louisiana, expect to have the worst conditions in your area, because most models are shifting east, or shifting east southeast, and so if that continues, you guys are going to be even more under the gun than you were first originally thought. Now, this is the HWRF model, and it drops it all the way down to a 967 millibar hurricane, which is headed towards that Category 3 status. So that is a major hurricane, folks. Now we're looking at the HMO model, and we're going through time. And as we continue to go through time, it drops it all the way down to a 962 millibar hurricane, which is Category 3 status. This is a mid-grade Category 3 status. It's headed down to 959 millibars. This is a major hurricane coming right at you guys. So you want to stay weather aware, be weather aware in those areas, as this looks increasingly likely, in my opinion. I think that we're going to see I think intensity caps at a low end Category 3 as it heads right to you guys. But then it probably rapidly decays right as it makes landfall from incoming dry air, and then you have wind shear to your north, which should tear apart this storm fairly quickly. But another threat that I will make a much more detailed video about tomorrow is the tornado threat, and the tornado threat could be quite significant. All that dry air that's gonna tear apart this storm fairly quickly is only going to increase our supercellular threat, and we could have a threat of some pretty nasty tornadoes in these areas. But I'll get all into that probably tomorrow when I show short range guidance. But today we're just going to really focus on the track and the overall general impacts. But overall, this looks like a pretty major hurricane from the HMO model showing a 960 millibar hurricane. This is headed towards Category 3 status, so this isn't good, folks. I know you probably see some things out there where people are saying dry air is going to take advantage of the system. It will, but it won't do that. So it won't really do so, in my opinion, until it gets closer to landfall or it does make landfall. Because whenever you have these small, tight, compact cores, like what this model is showing, look how tight and compact that is. Whenever you have a compact, tight core, inner core, like what this model is showing, and I'll draw it on your screen. Whenever you have a tight, compact inner core, like what this model is showing, it's going to be a little bit harder for dry air to really enter that system because it's going to be protecting itself. Now, what's going to end up happening though is as this gets closer to landfall, and in my opinion, makes landfall, you're going to have that wind shear to your north, which is going to help open up that core a little bit. And then that's when you're going to have that sneaky dry air move in from their west. And it's probably going to knock most of this precipitation out and in from up under it. And so most of the strongest part of this storm probably be to our north and to our north and west. So that's why I say if you're in southeastern Louisiana, you're in a really bad spot for this storm. You should be prepared already for a major hurricane here. Right now, National Hurricane Center has it at 100-mile-an-hour Category 2. Do not be surprised if they increase that to a strong Category 2 to a low-end Category 3 hurricane as we go through our day-to-day and through tomorrow morning. So, again, and you can kind of see the representation off the HMO where it looks like our core stays intact as it makes landfall, but it quickly falls apart and that millibar start go right back up, yielding to decreasing intensity. So that's what that means. So we look at our HAFS model A, and we're going through time, and it too strengthens this storm to a 971 millibar hurricane, which is a Cat 2 hurricane, which is what the National Hurricane Center is forecasting. And again, it shows the exact same thing. It even looks to be a little bit a touch west of the last model, but again, impacts look significant if you're in southeastern Louisiana. I mean, impacts look pretty darn significant. And then we look at our HAFS model B, and this model drops it all the way down to a 971 millibar hurricane, so a Cat 2 hurricane. So I mean, the general consensus is a Category 2 hurricane, but I don't think I cap intensity at a low end Category 3. I just think that's possible, yielding to very warm ocean waters. If we can get that tight, compact, really small core to develop, like I think it will, I think it'll be a little bit harder for dry air to basically suck up this system, at least until it gets to landfall. So, in my opinion, I think we'll have a rapidly intensifying system, and as soon as it makes landfall, it's probably going to rapidly decay from wind shear and dry air, which most models pretty much have the same idea as me. Granted, they're a little bit weaker. This one has a 971. Again, I think this may be headed towards low end Category 3 status, but again, we'll see. Right now, though, National Hurricane Center has it at a Category 2, 100-mile-an-hour hurricane forecasted hit southeastern Louisiana. Now, I talked about the dry air, and I want to show you that. So here's I'll take you back to the HMO model because I think that model shows my thoughts the best, and I tend to agree with this model the most out of all of them that I've seen. And we're going through time, and notice you have a very tight, compact core. Notice how it's not, dry air is not really able to really sneak into this system. Here we are, and it's very hard. You see dry air coming on the backside of this system, but it's not really getting into the core because this core is really tight, it's really compact. And whenever you have that, you have a core that's like this, it's going to be harder for this dry air to really enter into this system and to destroy it. So my opinion is, and I've been leaning strong on this, is that this system will only intensify And then as soon as it makes landfall, notice how the gyre creeps in, that wind shear to the north, it kills the storm pretty quickly. You may get close to making landfalls at 960, but notice as soon as it makes landfall, it's dropping all the way back down, and it's increasing back up to the 970s, and then that gyre is just going to kill this system and rapidly decay it to the point where it's going to be very lopsided as it makes landfall. So when it makes landfall, it'll probably become really lopsided, and most of your strongest impacts will be right to the north, in southern Mississippi, maybe, and in particularly southeastern Louisiana. You could see some really dangerous impacts. They're already forecasting 10-foot storm surge. Guys, that's probably going to go up a little bit higher, especially if we get a low end Cat 3 hurricane, which that's what I'm leaning towards. I do think this will be a low end Cat 3 hurricane, but there could be some caveats. Maybe this core isn't as tight, maybe it isn't as compact, maybe it's a little bit more broad, which means that gyre be a lot easier to sneak into this system. But again, if we get this tight, small, compact core like the HMO is showing, I don't know if gyre will be able to get in here as easily and as quickly as some models show. So that's why I'm leaning towards a higher end guidance. That warm ocean waters, and there's also going to be this jet interaction that happens tonight. This should allow for a really good divergence aloft, and that should also help this system. So contrary to belief, I know there's a lot of people saying that gyre may get to this system, but there's actually a lot going for this system. In my opinion, you have this jet interaction, you have warm ocean waters, and then if you have that tight, compact core, which I think is the most significant part of this system, if you can get a tight core like this, really small in size, gyre is going to have a lot harder time to really destroy this system. And overall, yeah, you may have a lopsided storm, but the storm itself won't really weaken. It'll probably rapidly intensify right up to landfall, and then rapidly decay from dry air. And then as it's rapidly decaying, your tornado threat is going to increase because this dry air is going to help that tornado threat increase. So, looking at our wind gust forecast from the Euro model, and we're gonna go through time, and you're gonna notice this is our wind gust forecast. Right along the coast, you can see hurricane force gusts. And guys, this is the Euro long range model. I'm pretty sure that wind gusts could be quite higher than this, but this is going to show you that the overall core of the system is, it's not very large, but the areas that it does affect, these are very strong wind gusts. You get this combined with rainfall, you're talking about widespread power outages, probably some flooding as well from the heavier rainfall. This just looks like a really bad scenario for these areas. You're seeing widespread gusts in the 60 to 40, generally from about 45 to about 60 miles an hour. I know that's a really big range, but overall, guys, these are tropical storm force gusts, and maybe even tropical storm sustained winds. So this is the Euro model. Granted, it does show a little bit of a weaker storm than what I'm seeing, so that also is to be taken into consideration. Now here's your GFS model with this wind gust forecast, and it shows, hurricane force gusts all across southeastern Louisiana, from about Lafayette, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Slidell, going up even towards Hattiesburg, Mississippi, West Gulfport, Mississippi. Those areas could experience some really strong wind gusts from this system, but I think as this system makes landfall, it's going to rapidly decay, owing to the fact that you have a lot of dry air. But what's going to happen is to the east of this system, towards southwest Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, you're gonna have a nasty tornado threat in these areas from dry air, some instability over top, some stronger winds in 850 millibar heights. You're probably gonna have a pretty nasty tornado threat in these areas, but I'll get into that more tomorrow. Now, looking at our rainfall forecast, we're already in a day 2 moderate risk for flooding, which is at least a 40% chance of heavy rainfall. So this is probably going to lead to flash flooding. Looking at totals at a closer look, you have a pretty wide range. You have about 5-inch to as high as probably 10 or 12 inches of rainfall, particularly along that coast where you have the highest rainfall. but you also had a storm surge along the coast owning to that. So flash flooding will be a big deal in these areas, particularly probably from uh, Huma to New Orleans to Slidell. These areas will probably have the greatest impacts from this system. But if you're in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, you're also going to have pretty bad conditions. And along the Texas coast, you could also have some really bad conditions from this storm. So overall, guys, highest impact should be along that New Orleans to Huma to let me erase this, to Slidell. And then I think Lafayette and Baton Rouge also have pretty significant impacts as well. But the highest, most major impacts will probably end up affecting Huma, New Orleans. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but please forgive me. And Slidell. These areas right up in here, and I'm drawing it right back on your screen. These areas will have the highest or the most major impacts from this system, and I'm tempted to circle Gulfport in there because I think you guys got some really significant impacts as well. And notice this little cutoff in rainfall. This storm is going to rapidly decay, guys. I'm telling you, as this makes landfall, you're going to have a significant plume of dry air that moves through, and I'm telling you, that tornado threat could really be something that is underrated in this whole entirety. Um, this system will probably make it low end Category 3 status, but that tornado threat will also increase as well. So overall, guys, looking at a major storm system out of this. Again, looking at latest IR satellite, I'll take you back to that before I leave you here. You know, this is our system. I'll refresh this so we can get a good view. And this is our system. And this is what will become Hurricane Francine, and probably Major Hurricane Francine, in my opinion. Looks like we may be trying to get a little bit of a maybe an eye trying to open right there. I don't know. But overall, guys, this system looks pretty nasty for you guys in southeastern Louisiana. We're still seeing eastern shifts, so I'll continue to keep you updated on that. But overall, guys, this is going to be a nasty system. Again, my forecast is that this makes landfall as a low end Category 3 hurricane. That will probably rapidly decay as it makes landfall from incoming dry air and wind shear to its north. Should tear apart the storm fairly quickly once it makes landfall, and then yielding to it becoming pretty lopsided as well. So that's all I got for you guys today. This will be a significant impact to you guys, and I'll be back tomorrow with an even bigger update on local impacts down near Louisiana.